Hey guys, Nebraska Farm Boy here, and recently I had a chance to sit down with my friend Sam. We've done videos in the past together, and we just sat down and talked about being dangerous. We talked about some common misconceptions about it. We talked about why you should be dangerous, why Christians should be dangerous. We went all over the place and kind of got cut off abruptly at the end, so I apologize. But really, I'm going to quit talking and get right on to the interview because it was a really great interview. So, are you a dangerous man, Sam?
Hopefully not. Hopefully so.
Yes.
It kind of depends what you're referring to. Am I a danger to people who are wanting to harm my family, my loved ones, or am I a danger to the average person walking by? The average person walking by? I hope not.
For his sake, yes.
I am unfortunately not that dangerous.
Well, yes, we always wish. Continuing on a forward journey.
Yeah.
The term dangerous,
it has a bad rap.
It does have a bad reputation.
And there's two sides to every coin. There's the side where being dangerous of you're getting into stupid fights on the playground. You're fighting just to be fighting. You're kind of the bully. And then you've got the dangerous of my family's in danger and I'm able to be dangerous to confront that danger, whatever that danger may be. It may be simple as being dangerous can be knowing how to de-escalate a situation. And it's effective. It's not really the dangerous that we think about, but that can be dangerous because it's dangerous to the danger. That makes sense.
Yes, dangerous. Yeah, and I think the other part of being dangerous is being it's kind of like you can either be dangerous to good or dangerous to evil.
Yeah.
And it's not just even the bad guy. It's also dangerous in a way that you're going to be dangerous, stand in the way of a tyrant, stand in the way of
standing up for truth.
Yeah, standing up for truth and willing to die for something. That's what dangerous men, good dangerous men are. And of course, any word that could be used for good could be used for evil. You could protect the wrong thing. You could be a warrior for the wrong thing. You could be so when I use the word dangerous on my channel, you guys can just know that it's in a good light. It's meant to be sort of being dangerous for the things that I'm willing to die for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't even want to hurt someone who wants to hurt me. If I have to, I will, because that's my calling, that's my duty. And this is kind of going off topic a bit, but if there's a threat, we'll just use the word threat, and you and I are on the same mindset, if we can just talk that threat down and we can just calm things out, that's great. In the Bible it mentions live, if at all possible, live at peace with all men. If at all possible. I think that's where the key is. So you are to be to work to not be in conflict with others. And I was talking to my mentor, and he was talking about how when he was a soldier, he was told that he can't be a Christian because he was a soldier and that he was fighting. And he mentioned that of, if at possible, live at peace with all men. Not always is it possible. Sometimes you have to fight, and if you'll go through the Bible, you'll find tons of people that would fight. You got Joshua, you got David, the list goes on forever. Even in some ways you could say Christ, when he was in the temple, he kind of turned violent there, but he was always calm. He was always, and of course he's the pinnacle, he's the tip of the spear that all of us should want to be like. Yeah, I agree. Of course, as the God-man, it was already predestined that he was never. There's no records of him technically defending himself, but as the God, would he technically have had to? Everything was going to. It was predestined that everything was going to work out. That he didn't actually have to do. But you do see, like you said, in Hebrews 11. You see that specifically it says God makes men mighty in war. It is a biblical thing to be dangerous, and a lot of Christians, I think, do they find that a little bit difficult to understand how to reconcile loving your neighbor, loving
loving your neighbor and everybody being your neighbor and defending and causing, let's face it, physical harm to a person to prevent them from hurting you or another person. But which is more loving, to let someone hurt somebody or to hurt that person to prevent that?
And I think that is the difference is there's kind of two different kinds of love. There's the standard recognized version of love, and then there's this other variant where it is hard, and that's a hard thing. And we talked, there's probably, I think you've mentioned on your channel, of like a home defense scenario kind of idea, and in the off chance that we would have to take a life, that would be very hard, and that is not something that we want to do. Life is created by God, and we are not to take it lightly. But at the same time, I believe God uses people to draw the line. We can't save anyone out of God's plan. It is absolutely impossible. If God wants, or God has in His all perfect plan for someone to die, that person will die, and that person will die in the way that God has ordained. Is that the right word?
Right.
But He sometimes, I believe, uses people to draw that line and say, okay, the evil or the killing or death stops here.
Right. And
Temporarily, of course.
as such, if you did not fulfill that call, specifically as men, we're called to be more that way. You could find yourself being in sin. You could find yourself find yourself going against God, and that would certainly not be what I want to do. And so it's a serious thing to be dangerous. There's a serious side to it, which doesn't mean that we can't. I take joy in all circumstances. That does not mean I would enjoy hurting someone, but I take joy in the fact that God has made me a protector. I think that that's a very noble calling, and I don't want to hurt somebody, but I do think it's a noble thing to train to be able to protect, to save lives and protect people.
Yeah. And I think in our culture we're seeing a big attack on being that protector. And to be honest, I don't understand it. I often see that, and I see the people who are saying that you shouldn't be that way, that there's I think it's called toxic masculinity, that you shouldn't be a protector. When at the same time I look at those people and I think, if they're in a dark alley and they're walking, they expect one of us to help them. So my question is, why would they say to stop that? I mean,
it's because they don't want strong men in times of peace. In times of trouble, they want strong men to stand up. But while it may seem kind of ridiculous to be training now, I don't expect to be attacked tomorrow or the next day. I've never been. In my past, I've lived a pretty peaceful past. I don't.
Congratulations.
I don't expect. I don't have very many known enemies. Yeah. I'm on YouTube, so that's one thing. But
yeah.
But at the same time, I only do what I feel is my call. There's certain things that I don't do because I don't feel that they're my call, and some people might feel that it's their call, and they might think that it's my call, but it's not my call because I obey God and not any man.
And I think they want the men not to be protectors, because when whoever is doing it, whoever they are, when they want to come into the home, they don't want to face that Spartan wall of willing to fight, willing to die for their home. And yeah, I'm a big Spartan guy. I love Spartans.
I like I don't
warrior mindset.
I like their warrior mindset. I don't like much else about them, but
no. But then again, you can say that with every warring, everything.
Right.
But yeah, and I think that is honestly some of it. They don't want to face that, and I think a lot of times when, especially in the
Christian world, I see a lot of people, and even I've gotten these comments of, oh, it's not good to be a warrior. What I use the word warrior, someone who protects and defends. But I like taking it to the agricultural side, and I look at it. So you have the sheep, and in the Bible we are described as sheep. But I kind of look at as most people as sheep, and they kind of go with the flow. And then you have the wolves coming in, and obviously the wolves are the bad guys. But then you have, I believe, the sheepdogs, which would be kind of like me. But I think sometimes the sheep look at us, the sheepdogs, and they see, oh, a wolf. And so then they're scared of the wolf, when really the sheepdogs, they know how the wolf fights. They maybe were a wolf, but they train like they wolves. They think like the wolves. So when the wolves come in, they're able to defend.
So guys, that was our interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and thank you, Sam, for taking the time to do that. He's got a channel that he's trying to get set up, so I don't know at this point what stage it's going to be in. Should be linked around the Nebraska Farm Boy channel. You should be able to find it. I believe it's called Bravo Warrior, and then there was a number, and I forgot because I'm a bad friend. Anyways, without any further ado, do be dangerous, do be God-fearing young men, and we will see you next time.